Good morning, everybody. We will call our work session to order and get started. We have a nice amount of topics to discuss, a lot of good business. I'd like to ask everyone to join me in the pledge. Let us pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all very much. We'll just get started here with Dale Glass and Allison and Brittany. I have shared with the court some, but I'm going to set the table and then I'll turn it over to you. We are glad that you all are here, and I've been a part of several meetings with the Extension Board and looking at the Scott County Extension Office, and as our community grows, how the office needs to probably grow and meet the needs of the programming and the agencies there, and looking at the low-hanging fruit, needing to add some flexible space for kitchen teaching space, and then also some additional storage, and then some flexible room for a multi-purpose room that would have a concrete floor with drains in it, garage doors on the outside that you could have livestock in there. You could also have machinery, horticulture, just a wide variety of things. Now, with this potential plan, they wanted to come and really get your all's feedback, and then one of the things, I think, I don't have the date in my head, but they are currently on a 50-year lease, and the desire is to ask this board, the Fiscal Court, to extend that lease another 50 years. So that is where we're at, and that's why we're here. I'll turn it over to you, and then we'll ask questions. Okay. And then you all have in your possession the colored areas is what's being renovated or expanded out. And this is not finalized. It's close. I think they're going to do a little bit more tweaking. Right. But I'll let Dale take it from here.
Well, I appreciate you.
Always glad to have you here, too.
Thank you. With me today is Allison Johnson. She's the county director, and Brittany Brewer, which is county agent. You started your second year here?
Yeah.
Okay, good. She's from Ohio, but that's okay.
She's a graduate of the Morehead State University.
Morehead, that's where my granddaughter's going, so good. For the last 2 years, we've been discussing this program to renovate. We've kicked the can back and forth till it's wore out, but we had Brandsetter and Carol come in and draw some plans up, or tentative plans, and we liked what we saw. We made a decision the other day to go on with the geographic and the survey. That's the first step, make sure everything's right. We want to do this by the numbers, but we want a multi-purpose room, teaching kitchen, and which I don't know exactly how all that works, but there's like stations and they can roll them around and they can teach the culinary arts and so forth. A multi-purpose room is what Judge was talking about. It could be big overhead doors. You could have livestock, equipment, meetings, just multiple things. 4 new offices, which we're running out of office space because we have to hire more people like the county agent and assistants, and they all need a place, plus storage. I mean, as you grow, everything grows, you know. Just to list some of the programs that we have is naturally the 4-H. There's a lot of different programs in that. Recipes for Life is one of them. Cannon and Preservations, a program. 4-H Cooking Club, Cook Wild. I assume that's teaching you how to cook a deer if you kill one, I assume. Hook and Cook, that's diabetic prevention program, horticultural therapy, the Cure Country Hams out there in the 4-H, and then, of course, the livestock, rich livestock and FFA demos and so forth. Some of the outside groups that use our building is Farm Bureau, FFA alumni, Chamber of Commerce, the EMS, Scott County Sheriffs, Scott and Georgetown Fire Department, Southern States, and NAACP, just to name a few. And we're looking forward to get this started. I think Phil told us the other day it would be, if everything goes right, it'd be fall before we can break ground. And we're looking at a year into it, getting it built, which that will put us in 3 different
budget cycles,
which that's good. And the good thing, we're not going to build this building and then come and say we need to raise the tax rate. We're happy with the tax rate. I'll tell you that right now. And we've got enough money to pay for this thing.
The reserves are comfortable, and
yes,
the projected cost, I think this was projected out about 2.7.
Yes, sir.
And you know, they've still got some tweaking to do, but I think it's conservative, meets the needs of the agencies and the programming, but kind of expands out to meet the needs into the future as well. So, what questions or comments?
Yeah, it'll take a while to get together. We have, currently there's 4 agents in office, and then we actually have 1 vacant 4-H agent position. But we can send you like a big comprehensive list of different programs that we offer and stuff like that, yeah.
And do you all, when these outside groups, do you all charge them anything?
No. We've talked about charging a linens fee if they want to use tablecloths and stuff, but like, I don't know, the EMS is there today. No, they'll actually be on Box 56 tonight because of the training that they're doing there tonight, but we don't charge them for it.
I think so. That is pretty decent website. If it's on the website.
And you know, that partnership kind of demonstrates it's a true community service facility, and it meets the needs of a lot of different groups. Rick, you had some comments.
It was kind of along that line, same question Wayne had as well, but also I see that it's, so the new addition, when it comes, is pushing towards Long Lick, right?
Yes, sir.
So that'll take out that path that goes around to the
That will
back.
be extended toward.
Will you extend that path, still go around that end of the
Yes, sir.
building, or are you going to go
No, we're still going to go around the end of the building toward
the
Long
new
Lake.
the new part?
Yes, sir.
But there's going to be a south driveway that is
that's-
right past the
That's
road
also
department.
access to the.
That
To the
will
ball
give you
field.
access.
Yes.
It'll create kind of a loop. And they were talking in the last meeting, Dale, you tell me if I'm right, the potential not connecting, but then they talked about there's so many trucks that come in there and drop stuff off.
Yeah.
Just the meeting that need and making it easy to make a loop makes so much more sense. But there'll be signage up that, like, there's additional parking that's going to come in, and
Yeah, I was going to ask that. It's probably somewhere on the backside.
Yeah.
Additional parking.
yes.
Yeah.
Do you know how many people this big room will hold? Did they give you an idea on that?
I think it's not, the south room holds 236 to fire code, and this I think holds about 175. I know it says up there under the little thing, I just can't read it.
It's Dwayne. It's 175 in chairs.
Yes, in chairs.
In chair, yes.
So we didn't want to make it as big as the south room because we didn't think we needed it as big, but we still wanted a larger meeting space.
I got a technical question, and I don't know if you know the answer, and it has to do with the sewer line. So you are on sewer. I believe the bathrooms that are by the softball fields are on sewer. Are you going to be adding more to the sewer? Are you adding bathrooms in this area?
Right.
Yeah, and you can see the bathrooms. There will be like a new bathroom.
There's nothing
up there,
outside.
but none outside.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
The reason why I was asking is, we had the old road department, it's not on sewer, and I don't know if in the future we would ever need sewer lines in that area, but we may. And so I didn't know if part of this deal was upgrading the sewer lines, if we were going to be at capacity. And I know that's a very technical question, but I'm thinking about maybe what could possibly happen in the
Right,
future.
right.
Don't forget your mic.
Oh.
Just a reminder, y'all don't forget your mics. One of the considerations as well, I've lost my train of thought when you were talking about, now I've got it back. So as you come up to the extension office, you've got the old road department, then you have the sheriff's got an impoundment lot. We would need to relocate that impoundment lot just because of aesthetics, and you don't want that additional traffic going right by there. And JR and I've talked about a couple options for that, but we would need to do that. And then, one day sooner than later, this body ought to consider, what are potential uses and what is our plan for the old road department. Mm-hmm. We don't need to just let it just sit there, and it does store some things, but
Is it being used now?
It's got a lot of storage in it. That would be primary. But my question is, do we need all that? Is it,
Is the Amen House one of the folks that are storing stuff, or is that somewhere else?
The Amen House uses the growers co-op building.
That's right.
And they're doing clothes recycling there as well, and that's so.
I thought it was, some of it was at the road department, old road department.
I don't believe so. What
That's
other
a good
questions?
question. I'll just have to,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I wouldn't think it
But
would
we-
take up capacity or if you had to resize the lines.
But
But
JR and I
something to
were
think
talking about the South Drive. We'll go over that sewer line, but JR, you said that sewer line is like 8 feet deep because you had to have that gravity drop.
Yes, sir.
From that bathroom in the back.
Yeah.
So,
It's just thinking through it all,
Yeah.
and if it might make a decision on what we do going forward with the old road department and that type of thing.
Who would Branstead or Carroll use as their engineers? I mean, that's who you need to ask that.
so Branstead Carroll's getting prices for geotech and all the other survey stuff, and then they're going to bring that back with 2 or 3 options to the board to check an engineer, to hire an engineer.
I have a question. Do they already lease this land where the extension's going, or do we have to redo the lease? Is that why you brought up the lease? I just don't know. I don't know how much of the land you all already lease or don't lease.
There's nothing. It is not. It's just the building is leased. We wouldn't have to redo.
You don't have to we don't have to redo the lease so they can
Certain
expand.
square footage or whatever.
But
yeah.
but we would need to redo the lease.
What year are we
for
on? You said
term.
50 years.
I think we got
It's
13 or 14.
2038 or 36 or somewhere.
What's
in there.
left? It was a 50-year lease for $50, $1 a year. So
And what I think would be
That's cheap.
appropriate is just another 50 years from now,
Paid in advance.
redo it.
Do they lease the land or the building? They lease the land, right?
it's the land.
Just the land.
Yes.
And we had the similar situation with what Judge referenced, the Growers Association out there behind the fire department. That land county owns it. It's like leased to the Growers Association. So if we cancel the lease, they can come pick their building up and go somewhere else.
We've wondered that.
Yeah.
But this is a very important part of our community, and I think it meets so many needs. And I think once they get this plan finalized and tweaked, I think it'll be right now it's a good plan. I think they're going to tweak a little bit more possibly, but they just wanted to come share with the court, and then the real thing is, could we consider extending the lease out for another 50 years? Any other questions or comments?
Well, one more comment.
Yeah.
And it kind of dovetails, but that expansion, especially hearing Brittany say that, financially their budget's allowing them to not charge anything for other public uses, which I think is a great thing. And this is just going to give more opportunity because the taxpayers are paying for it anyhow. And so this gives even more opportunity for
Yes,
other
it does.
groups. You could have dual functions going on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We already have a lot of nights where, right now we have the south room, which is that big end, and then on your all's sheets, there's like a slash line, which is our north room, and we typically have, especially Tuesdays and Thursdays, there are programs going on in both of those rooms, and with there already being 4 agents, and we're going to hire a second 4-H agent, and then, Scott County doesn't have an NEP, we don't have an NEP assistant or anything like that. With more
Brittany, what's an
agents-
NEP?
Nutritional education programs, and so it's the SNAP. She would cover all SNAP and WIC type things. Well, She-Turkey, I should say that. But they would offer
Absolutely.
like, cooking classes and that to low-income families. Crystal Beitler used to be our NEP staff, but she transferred to program 4-H assistant, and so we're wanting to hire a new one of those. We just don't have an office for them, and so with more agents come more programs, which means we need more room.
You'll need more custodian work too.
Yes.
They've got an all-star out there.
Who's that?
They poached him from the school system.
Daryl.
Daryl. You remember Daryl?
No,
He's a dandy.
I'd like to add that I love the extension office. I use my grandmother's pressure canner from the 60s, so I go in every couple of years, make sure it won't blow up on me. So it's a great service.
Yeah.
You all had your pressure canners checked?
Every summer, I use it. I use it every summer.
Those things, you don't want beans all over your ceiling.
I like my walls and skin intact.
Well, if there's no other questions in, what we will do is Cam and I will try to see about drafting
Okay.
an agreement. I don't know if we'll get it done by our next meeting, but maybe the second meeting, bring this to the court to consider, and then move forward.
They
I
said it'd
think-
be a couple, 3 weeks on the survey, so
Yeah.
maybe things will fall in place there. But
Yeah.
we're anxious to get started. We appreciate y'all's time.
No. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
thank you.
So the next topic is I'm going to turn it over to our animal care and control guru, Nathaniel Mulligan. Now, let's just set the table for was it Monday night or Tuesday night at 1 a.m. you were on Crumball Pike. I don't know if you all saw it on social media, but I texted out about it. And this is, like they're out all hours of the day and night, but you were out this night because somebody had made the decision to drop off 2 beautiful animals in a crate, a wired crate on the side of the road in the middle of the night. And
Yeah, I didn't hear enough of it from my wife when I got home because the phone woke her up too. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, we definitely had some animals dumped out on Crumball, and it's
But you had a bunch of, like, from what I've seen online, and y'all do such a good job
appreciate it.
with your social media. Because I'll hear Michelle, Stacy, and Karen, that they will, when they see a post, did you see that puppy? Because they're always talking about, and I see it as well. But you've had like some litters of puppies dropped off, and I mean, it's kind of a high time for dogs right now.
It really is. It really is. And post-COVID, during the 2020, adoptions boomed. Everyone was at home, and everyone wanted animals. So, but after the fact, when everything started to get back to being normal, we started having an increase in turn-ins. And it's not just us; it's any agency across the United States.
You all work very hard, and they work collaboratively with the Humane Society, to do the best that they can in regards to rehoming, getting animals out adopted, getting fostered, and
Yeah.
it's just a constant job, isn't it?
Yeah, and the support you guys have given us is also on the animal control side with the when you guys passed the ordinance in 2001 for the dogs running at large and vicious animals, and then also just giving us the mechanism to use written warnings and things like that. We have a binder full of written warnings, but we probably cite maybe a handful of those people. So, I mean, all of that really helps us out.
Now, it's my belief that our animal care and control, they really are conscious about costs and really, try to be good stewards of dollars. And but one of the things that they have no control over is these vet costs. And I'm going to turn it over to you, Nathan, to talk about in your packet that you have. And then they've done some research to show you what other counties do, and just so everybody sees a big picture. And I'll turn it over to you.
Okay. Since 2016, our adoption fees have been right around $110 for dogs, and right around $90. Well, they've been $90 for cats, and we've been able to maintain that over the years. But each year we've had a few increases as the years have gone by. But the most recent increase was significant enough that we thought it was our responsibility to come let you guys know, see what the court's opinion is of it. So from April 2023 to December of 2023, our adoption fees went up for dogs, for an example, went from $86.53 to $137. And that is we have an adoption package through the vet. We have one main vet. We do use some of the others, but we have one particularly who's able to get us in as needed. She doesn't turn us away. So, but the fees have gone up, and we had toyed with the idea of, do we need to ask for a fee increase? But we're afraid that will affect our adoption rates as well. So, we thought maybe it would probably be best to just stay at our current rate, because if our adoptions go down, then our cost of food, medical care is also going to go up for things like kennel cough, and if they do contract any kind of other parasites while they're in the facility, or anything like that, and our euthanasia rates will go up, which we're trying to keep as low as possible. The public has really seen the voice that over the years that's something that they're concerned with. Our euthanasia rates used to be very high, now they're pretty low. And just to backtrack a little bit, we try to do the best we can to be good stewards of tax dollars. We try to return as much as possible at the end of the year off our budget. And in my opinion, we want to be the model animal control agency for the state. We don't want to just do a good service here. We want to be an example for the state. So, we just wanted to see your thoughts. We posted some of the fee increase breakdowns, just showing what what it looks like and what we're getting charged for, and we're pretty comparable with the other agencies around the area, especially with the service that we're getting. Some folks, we do have the ordinance here in Scott County that all animals have to be spayed and neutered before they leave our facility. Some other agencies, they don't have that. We do that because we're trying to slow down the pet population and keep, we're not trying to create more of a job for ourselves. We have the animal control aspect of our job, but we also have the sheltering side. So when one side goes up, it's really hard to have that balance of the time we spend.
So, Nathan, tell me, I think last year what I saw was about 240 total adoptions of dogs. Does that
Yes,
sound right?
I think that's about right. And most of our adoptions, and I didn't touch on cats, so forgive me for that. The increase also did affect cats, but our adoption rates on cats is so small. The majority of our cats are transferred out into rescues, mostly to the Scott County Humane Society. So that's why we're not really speaking much about the cat side of it, because that's really not going to affect us. It's mostly the canines that we're going to feel the effects from.
Humane Society really goes.
They're great partners.
They're great partners, and they do a lot of work of trying to get cats adopted, and they really come and partner there on the table. Question.
So, Nathan, explain to me the vet fees, are you all bidding those fees out like professional services, and you've
So-
got a contract with people, because they just keep going up? And if you have a concrete, agreement set in stone with a vet for so many years, what does that process look like?
So what we did when Sherry became our director, and we went out and we tried to have scheduled meetings with all the local vets, just to see if they could meet us, in the area where we already had our fees set. Several of them were unable to do so, and some they didn't want us to bring our animals into their facility because they're afraid of having disease and stuff spread into their building. So to answer your question, we try to use everyone. We pretty much use 2 to 3 different vets, and Nobleview. Sorry, one of the vets.
It's public record.
That's okay. She gets us in as often as possible.
Right.
Some of the other vets, they enjoy helping us out. They try to do the best they can, but they can only schedule 1 or 2 adoptions a week or every 2 weeks
Because
they're just so busy.
They're busy private practice.
Yeah, and their fees that they charge us are very small compared to what they charge the public.
So ultimately what happens is because you need more than one vet, you all haven't bid it out per se
We have not at this point.
Okay.
But in our discussion, we were thinking down the road we may have to look into having our own vet on site.
So what I discussed with them the other day, I said, when will we be at the point where could we have a partnership with like Woodford County or another county
That's not a bad idea.
where you hired and you split the costs, and then you had that vet service,
Yeah.
and you knew what your costs were going to be.
And I don't see any reason we couldn't work something like that out. As long as it makes sense, financially, then yeah, absolutely. If we're spending more time traveling back and forth and giving up our staff, that may become a problem if we need officers in here to run calls. But we can work something out.
Another partnership would be also with the Humane Society, because they raise money, and then that could be a potential as well.
What about the UK vet programs and all that?
There is no vet school in the state of Kentucky.
Where they send them to Auburn?
Auburn.
They have some sort of agreement. I think there's an agreement.
It's agreement to send them to Auburn.
So when they get
Well, the agreement is they pay in-state tuition at Auburn
No, another
or Mississippi State. Like there's a former student from Scott. You remember Carly Leamer?
Oh, yeah.
Like she's at Mississippi State, and then another little young lady. Guy was daggone. I can't. But there's kids from Scott County. They're doing vet school right now. But
And also, I would like to point out, I brought up Nobleview. Her price increase has gone up, but she's also helped us in partnering for us to get medications that we use at the office. She's helping us be able to buy them directly instead of having to buy them through her. So that's also helping.
But their fees are much less than what. Like if I went and got the package done, it would be considerably more.
Yeah, absolutely. And the things that we offer compared to other communities, we try to avoid having people bring their pets back and say, "Hey, it's not healthy. We want a refund," and we're stuck with the animal again, going through the whole process. And unlike some folks, we may have a dog or an animal in our facility for maybe a couple months tops, whereas you see some other places they're holding them for years on end, trying to get them adopted. And we try to avoid that by getting them out as soon as possible. So we just want to make sure you guys know we are doing everything we can to keep them moving and find good homes for them. And one of the main things as well is when we adopt them out, we do try to do the research so we're not getting them returned to us or creating more issue with us on the animal control side as far as potentially citing them for animal cruelty or things like that. So we try to vet through everyone before we do adopt the animals out.
So
I have a question. Just so I understand. So right now, somebody pays $110 to adopt a dog, but your fees are $137 for the vet.
Yes.
So you're losing $27
Yes.
just on the vet, not including food and everything else.
Yes, and that's why our opinion is we should probably just keep it where we're at. We're right now at the $110 because if we have to continue caring for them, say we have an opportunity for it to get adopted at $137, but the person doesn't, they feel that's a high fee and they can go adopt from someone else. Because I hate to say it, but we have competition with other agencies. So if they're going to go adopt an animal, at, say Lexington for $110, and as opposed to adopting an animal here for $137, we could potentially have, we will have more fees over the pet food and just the upkeep of the animals.
I guess the main thing about today is to understand that there probably is some sort of issue moving forward that we're going to have to either more funding, to help cover that whatever loss, because their rates are going to keep going. 137 is not the end.
Yeah.
It's going to keep going higher every year. So
this is the biggest increase we've had at one time.
And my thought is that right now, let's watch it. Let's don't raise it, because in my concern is that we negatively impact
Right.
adoption numbers, which on the other side would raise our costs on the other side. But we're going to have to watch it. But do we look at some strategic partnerships with other agencies
I like the idea of that.
to hire our own, in-house vet? And that if you had your own vet, probably could do this work in like 2 or 3 half days.
I think we could probably do a part-time position and do it maybe on a Saturday morning or just one day through the week. Ideally, if we could get like a retired veterinarian, someone who just, some folks just want to help out. So
Yeah.
we may have an upfront incurred cost if we do it in our office. They may want to set up, because we have had some folks express interest in coming to our facility to do the work, but we would have to have the equipment there. So that's also a possibility. Maybe we can just do it on site.
There'd be some investment too.
Yeah, and we currently have the space to do something like that if we needed to.
You mentioned a partnership. What if you had 4 contiguous counties? And,
Yeah.
Each county get the vet
Gets a
one day, and
Yeah.
I don't know what a vet, say it's $80,000 or whatever the salary would be. $20,000 each a year would not be
No.
too bad.
That would be, to me, that's something to explore.
I agree.
Judge, the veterinarians group that oversees all these shelters and places, that's under the agriculture commissioner's purview. You may want to reach out to them and see what other places is done. My uncle used to be over that group. He's retired now, but he would go around and inspect, animal control centers and that type of thing. You might want to reach out to them to see what other communities are doing.
They'd love to hear from me. I call them all the time.
Yeah, so find out maybe if this whole regional deal could possibly work.
Yeah.
And any other comments or questions? And do we? I think they wanted to just present this so that we all are on the same page.
Yeah.
We're getting ready to do budget, those kind of topics. I think if it's up to me, my vote would be to leave it as it is, but explore, future potential partnerships, strategic partnerships about it. So,
Well, it's obvious you've run the numbers, so is it possible without a lot of work to figure up for the year 2023 that direct cost that the vets have cost us?
Yeah, I'm sure we could.
You know what I'm saying? To get that total, it goes back to what Kelly said and the judge. If we partnered with some counties,
Michelle says it's in the financials, but she'll put it all together.
It's listed as medical.
well, you see where I'm going.
Now,
You see where I'm going. It
We'll
goes
send an
back to
email
Kelly
out.
said, "Hey, what if it's $20,000 a county?"
We'll send we'll send it
Any
out.
information you guys want, just reach out to me. I'm happy to
Well,
provide it.
when you're partnering,
Well, thank you for all you do, and appreciate your all's efforts, and you all care about these animals, and it shows. Any other comments? Thank you, brother.
Can I, something off topic? I mentioned it to Rick and Joe Pat, but I wanted to thank you all for all the work you all have done with the opioid issues and the, with the Isaiah House and everything else. It really hits home for me, and I really appreciate it. And I can see that all of you all care in the meetings, and so I just wanted to say thank you for that. I think sometimes it's nice to have someone tell you that they really appreciate it. You probably get a lot of criticism at times, so. Just nice to have a little bit of positive feedback. So.
You better believe that.
Only Chad gets criticized.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you. With that said, now I'll ask Ben Whitmer. He drew the short straw. Ben is with Branch Sarah Carroll, and I've asked if they could just give us an update, on all of our construction projects.
Is that including Justice Center?
Justice Center as well.
Yeah. Sure.
And it's not the Justice Center.
Oh, the Hall of
It's the
Justice.
Hall of Justice.
Sorry. Hall of Justice is pictured in mine.
I tried to get a back cave in there.
What was that?
Wasn't.
The Hall of Justice.
Yeah. Now, Columbia Gas is down there doing some prep work.
Yeah.
So that made me, I was glad to see that. Ben, we'll turn it over to you.
All right. I'll actually be speaking about the Hall of Justice last, but start off with the Scott County Sheriff's and Clerk's Office. Update on that. Construction began back in July. They have run into a little bit more rock that they're having to excavate out than was anticipated, so that has pushed the schedule back a little bit behind, but they are doing what they can to try to make up any lost time. They are anticipating end of November, but they're trying to get it to late September to early November.
In those construction update meetings, JR and I are there. Ben's 100% correct. They hit rock, and then they've had bad weather on top of that. But they are confident that once they get up out of the dirt and get they can have multiple trades on site and try to catch up on some of that time.
The hardest part is getting up out of the ground sometimes.
Yeah.
And then on the handout I gave you all, there's just a few more stats on there. The current contract sum in the floor area and the contractor for the project. Moving on to the...
Ben, I just want to share as well, like all the storm sewer stuff's done. They've got gravel on parking lots, and like the staff parking lot, you can really see, the staff parking lot. We had JR had to go down there, and they had to move out. There was 2 gate posts that was kind of like framing the entrance to the dog park, and we're going to talk about that here in a minute. But that's where that staff parking lot entrance is. It's right across from his third entrance. But there's a lot that's been done. So thank you, Ben.
Moving on to the Georgetown Scott County EMS. Construction began back in December. They're still working on doing some of the site work. There's had to be a lot of site work to do just because we're kind of down in a little bit of a hole, and we're having to raise the building pad up. The current schedule is tracking for substantial completion the end of September, and then there will be another month after that for final completion. And again, some more stats for contract sum and for area if you're interested. The Scott County Farmers Market, the schedule on that is currently to be determined. We are waiting on the manufacturer of the pavilion before they will start to establish any hard dates for that. And they did, I believe, take the alternate for adding the cupola to that.
Correct.
Now,
Let me add to that. The target date that I had is March 15th to go down there, and they'll be on site doing site prep and starting that process of getting it ready for the structural supports and such. And then there's some infrastructure work that has to be done in the parking lot, cutting up, path and such. But the steel fabricator, the company that's fabricating the actual building, is like it's a 13 to 16 week window to get that done, and after that the shop drawings were done. The one question I still have is, when the shop drawings have been approved, could we know, so we have that, we know the clock is ticking, so to
Yes.
speak?
I have in my notes, it is 180 days after delivery, so it should be probably, hopefully, a few weeks to get it manufactured and shipped. So we should definitely have a better time frame once it's approved.
And then I've been in contact with Jessica McQuaid, who is in charge of the farmers market, just to communicate that, hey, we're going to have an alternate site plan for this summer. And what I've suggested, and she's called me, we played phone tag, but like I've suggested just this east, square, and then circle the courthouse with tents. I mean, that's an option that we've talked about, but I'm going to let Jessica and them, she had some other ideas as well, so we'll communicate with everybody.
Well, one other thought, what about the area of parking around the county attorney's office and outside the
I mean, if
current
that's what they
Justice
want to
Center?
do,
I'm just,
yeah, we could
because on a
navigate it.
Saturday, that's really not used. The Justice Center's not open. There may be a little bit of public traffic for the jail.
Yeah.
But
That might be
I don't
an
know.
That
Just
might
a
be an
thought.
option. But
Just a thought.
she's called back, and we played phone tag, and I just wanted y'all to know that we're coordinating with them as well.
Where are we at on the naming rights bids?
February 6th, those bids are supposed to be back. We hand delivered, and every financial institution here in the community got one, and then it was advertised as well. So, and emailed out.
Okay. Thank you.
Ben?
And now for the big boy, the Scott County Hall of Justice. So we've run into a couple holdups on that with GMWSS on some of the water and sewer lines, but we believe that we have them all taken care of. The drawings have been in the hands of Trace Creek, the construction manager, for a few weeks now, and if only had your work session next week, I'd have the final estimate for you all. That is due to us on Monday. The current estimated, after the final estimate, it will go to the Administrative Office of the Courts in Frankfurt for them to do their review. And then after that, hopefully we will be able to get approval from the Project Development Board if there are no major issues that we'll need to correct, and be able to go out to bid in April or early May. There will be a 6-week window for the bid. So that will put bid opening in, I believe, May or June. With that, there will be a couple weeks to protest bids, and then we are looking at breaking ground hopefully in July of this year. There will be a 2-year construction timeline, I believe, for that project. So we'd be wrapping up approximately in July of 2026.
So a lot of things going on there, and just trying to get to the starting line. So, what questions does anybody have for Ben, or any additional information you all would like to have?
Joe, do y'all meet monthly on all these projects? Do they give you like a handout with
No, they give us a
update?
It's
This is
you've
what
seen
we've
them.
done. This is
Yeah.
what we plan. Do y'all mind sharing that?
No, I mean,
that would help us out a lot. I think just
Ian-
knowing the notes.
Ian, if y'all want that, I can have Ian email them out after those updates.
Yeah, I'd enjoy reading it.
Yeah.
Might be the only one, but
No.
I like them too.
probably only Dorothy.
Yeah. Ben, can you add that to the request for Ian?
That's a conference memo from progress meetings.
Yeah. From those progress meetings, you always get that updated schedule that has,
Yes.
that's what I think Dwayne's talking about. Like the updated schedule says, like HVAC here, that kind of stuff, and
Yeah, I mean, that's helpful.
it has just a really detailed spreadsheet with estimates of
Time.
of when this work is going to be done.
We also do a lot of, this is what we've done the last 30 days.
Well, and that's part. There's a separate email. So you want that too?
I do.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I mean,
No.
So both those things, like the detailed,
The Congress memo and the schedule.
yeah, and
They typically go
then
out as
the
one.
narrative that gets sent out after the meeting.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that'd be great.
Judge, one quick question, backing up to the sheriff's and / clerk's office. You said something about they ran into more rock than they expected.
Yes, sir.
Is that gonna incur an extra cost, or? 'Cause I know
The
you
way
did-
that the contract was written, I believe, they were to have that worked into their price, so there shouldn't be any additional cost. I would have to double check on that, but there might be some wiggle room that they might have, just because it might get to an unreasonable amount potentially, but that'd be something that we'd bring back before the fiscal court.
Nothing's been mentioned at any update meeting about additional costs, but if you could confirm and
Yes.
include that.
Probably asking for days more than they are asking for cost, probably, right,
Right.
at this point.
And I think they already have asked for that.
But you need to, I mean, we need to always assume you're going to hit more rock in Scott County. I mean, it's just every project
Well,
I've
I
ever
remember
done.
us having that conversation
everybody's
during the
had
bid process, yeah. Yeah, just checking, if if it's extraordinary that they've run into, which I wouldn't think it would be, because I think borings were done and everything.
Should've been.
So,
But the borings were done.
Yeah.
But it was like the hardness, like they mentioned in these meetings, like they've had to repair hoe rams on, and they couldn't blast. So like they've had to repair. I know, but they don't.
It's not recommended.
It's not recommended. But they just talked about how hard it was, and it was just it was more than expected.
It's Kentucky, so
Yeah.
put a shovel on the ground and hit rock.
but they're past that now, aren't they? I mean, haven't they got all their footings in or not?
I believe they are wrapping up the foundation
Maybe
for the
they're-
basement and are working on the foundation for the first floor area. So, yes, I believe they are.
It looked like, last time I was out there, it looked like they were pretty much at that point, but I didn't walk out there.
Yes.
So, it was a little muddy.
So with that said,
I appreciate this.
Yes,
you
sir.
know, appreciate you coming, and we got a lot of work going, but I'm proud of the work that we're doing, and
Thank you, Judge.
I think it's making a big difference. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ben's always quick to answer, and then let me add one thing. We're waiting for the official agreement from Kentucky American about the water line extension at the EMS station. And I tried to get them to give us they asked for 100% of the cost up front. I asked and made a formal request, hey, can we give you 50% up front and 50% upon completion? And their response was no, that's not our practice. So once I get that final agreement proposal, I'll share with the court. Of course, that cost is shared with the city. The city knows what's going on as well. I've copied Devin and the mayor on these. But it's important that water main extension get on in there, and that way that's done, and they know where it's going, and it's the connection on the building. Just making sure everybody's on one page. But it was a little bit of a hang up. And then the same kind of situation is on that Porter Road main extension that we approved a partnership with as well. It's kind of the official contracts getting approved, yada, yada, yada. So thank you, Ben.
Thank you all.
And then I'm going to ask JR to step up here. JR and I, when JR took down the gate out there to open up the way for the sheriff's office staff parking lot entrance, we said, well, where could we recycle that? And JR and I thought it would be no better place than out there on Lyle Road at that soccer complex.
Got electric openers, very nice gates and everything that was
Operational.
Yes.
And so
For the front,
right there on Lyle Road.
Yes.
So
the big-
as part of our project, we put a gate at the schoolhouse roadside. Now we'd have a gate on the Lyle Road side,
An electric gate.
electric gates, and be open dusk to dawn. Dawn
Fully
to dusk.
programmable.
And
Have
can program it, and you have a keypad on it.
Put a camera on it, JR can handle it from the house.
And a loop on the inside where if you get trapped in there, you can
But that-
automatically open.
That just keeps traffic down, keeps people from going over there at night and doing donuts.
Where will it be? Because like when you turn in there, there's already there's rock, I don't even know what to call them, rock posts.
Wrought
Yes.
iron.
And there's wrought iron gates already there.
So-
are you going
Replace
outside of that or inside? Or you take all that out?
Inside,
So you'll go through that gate.
yes. And they'll be
So
right
just
on,
leave them open from now
right on the backside. And
But
that was
but
a
I almost
plan.
think, and
You're gonna have to extend that fence once you get in there, though. Are you gonna fence or are you gonna leave? Because once you get past that gate, it's you go around like that. The road's just open.
I met with overhead door and garage or gate installers, and they seem to think it'll work fine the way it is with the placement of the gates on the inside. And they
we're
will
not
open-
going that far into the.
No.
You mean it's just gonna back up to the pillars themselves, huh?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
You can walk through.
You
And,
use the
and
existing.
one thing we could do, we could leave the pillars, but we could take those gates off and it would take a daggone tow truck to.
Jeez, yeah, they're heavy.
But like those things, we could probably surplus those and sell them. I mean,
I've been
Absolutely.
going out there for I don't even know how many years now, whatever how old they are. Those gates have never moved a day in 10 years or however long.
I talked to a local guy that builds those and installs them on horse farms and everywhere, and he said they had some value to them if we wanted to surplus them, and said somebody would jump right on them.
so is that something y'all would like to have us bring about, like advertising those as surplus and I don't want to give them away.
As long as there's not no historical value.
Nah, all that was there was going to be a subdivision there at one time, 25 years ago or better, and the developer put those up at the start, and then I don't know what happened to the whole plan, but it didn't come to fruition.
Is there power there? Like how there's power at that gate?
There's power at the gate, so it's a no-brainer. So we'll bring this to y'all at the next meeting, but it's $6,300, and I think it'd be money well spent to do. Any comments?
No, I do. I mean, I know that Rick kind of had a ingest, but like I don't know that security cameras, especially if there's power there, might not be a bad idea. Especially, I mean, how many times those fields have been driven on at night and torn up?
We can certainly get a price for that, Magistrate Pratt. We will.
We have them in our other parks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Do
mean,
you want to give a short update? You and I have talked about your salt supply, and that you want to give that.
Sure.
I think it was wise of what you were talking about.
We went through quite a bit of salt in the last month or so, and several rounds, and talked to the judge, and I've got the money in the budget to refill the salt barn, and I think we locked in at $105 per ton, and I think with the weather up north, out west, salt will probably be quite a bit more expensive on this year's bid, so we kind of decided to go ahead and fill the barn on this year's contract, which hopefully next year we won't have to buy very much.
Is that just the big barn, or is that the
The big
salt
barn,
too?
the big barn out there, yes. About a 5,000 ton capacity, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna fill it back up with like 2,000 tons.
At the road department?
Yes.
Is there y'all more than one salt bin, or is that it?
We got the one at the old road department.
We got a backup out there, but we got very little out there.
So with that said, any other questions of JR? Appreciate the job y'all do, and thanks so much.
If he's already got that in the budget.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I just wanted y'all to know that
Sure.
he was thinking ahead, and
Oh, yeah.
he was covering the county. So,
That's right.
Chief Ward,
He's looking for
can I
homes.
ask you to give us? I'm going to share some information, and you make comment. But Chief Ward and Chief Baker have been contacted by a fire department out of Vancouver, British Columbia, about our bid on the engine. You want to talk about that a little bit? And what seems to be happening is they're writing some specs to be able to bid on it.
Correct.
So I'll let you take it.
I guess they got certain, things their governing body requires them to do. Part of that is writing specs that pretty much will be very similar to what our truck is. So we basically sent them specs that when we purchased that truck and how that truck was built, everything on it. So we've sent that to them, and that's the last communication we've heard from them. But we've kind of, waiting to hear from them on what their governing body says.
What about the smaller trucks?
Well, we're not doing anything
Right.
until.
Oh, okay.
Until
we haven't committed to anything with that.
Okay.
The only thing we've touched base, is it Bachman Chevrolet? We've touched base with them and told them there's a possibility that we may sell this, and if there is, we would like to purchase 2 trucks. They're supposed to be looking, but we haven't heard anything from them.
No, I was asking about the other 2 trucks we put up for sale to be surplus. Have we moved those yet?
We just put the engine 11 up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought the other ones were grass fire trucks. And
The brush trucks. But like if we were to be able to sell this engine 11,
the proceeds
our intent would take that money and purchase 2 brush trucks with that sale.
I understand.
Yeah.
And then Jeff's not here, but Jeff had to step out and had a call to make. But going to bring 2 names to next week's meeting. Is that correct?
That's correct.
I thought it was 3.
Well, if you all are good with 3, we'll bring 3.
But the story is Jeff said he wished he could hire all 3.
Yeah.
But you only got 2 current openings, and that would put you at full staff.
Yes.
What's allocated now. So, but good candidates, and we'll bring those recommendations.
Very pleased with all
Keep
3
that 3rd number.
Yeah.
I was very pleased, interviewed, and all 3 come in with experience, so it will allow us to put them through like a quick training, like 2 to 3 weeks, and then got them on the truck, versus bringing somebody in with no experience and then with 14 weeks just to get them on truck, and if they're not EMT certified, then once they go on the truck, we're sending them to Chris running in EMS's EMT program to get that certification. So we were really pleased. We had 2 vacant spots, but interviewed 3, and like I said, they were all 3 really well, real good, come in with good experience.
Yeah. So one other thing before I let you go, we have a procedure in place that when law enforcement retires, if they want to buy their sidearm, we have that in place. Well, John's had a couple of requests lately of firefighters leaving that would like to buy their helmet. And the helmet has a 10-year shelf life. After 10 years, it's not, you can't use it anymore.
Right.
The helmet costs $400 right now.
For the traditional plastic style helmet, when we get into the leather helmets, they're a lot more expensive.
Yeah,
but yes,
the ones we're talking about is the $400 ones.
They are.
If you take that out, multiply it out by over the months, the $400, you get a monthly cost. Let's say if there's 2 years left on a helmet, selling that helmet to on a prorated basis, I think is what you saw would be acceptable.
Yeah, I think it's okay. In these cases, we have like the person's mom wants to buy it for them, or their grandma, and I think that's okay. You just have to essentially document, hey, here's what it is, here's what it's worth, here's why it benefits the county to do this. I've actually drawn up like a little one-pager for the one we want to do, that you guys can, and Joe Pat proposed like creating a policy for this.
So I'd like to go on and just we'll do these 2, but let's go ahead and make an official policy that just outlines it. I don't know where that policy goes in the admin handbook, but it seems reasonable to me.
That way you don't have to come back to the court for approval, I guess, every
Yeah.
single time we want to do it.
But question.
So we just couldn't give the helmets to them? That's
don't.
against policy.
Now,
If it's worthless, I guess.
if it was at the
The surplus
if it was at the 10 years,
Could you
know,
start like
I think it also the only
collecting
other
your
thing I'll
10-year
say-
ones and keep them on the shelf, and that be your retirement thing for guys? You know what I mean? Because we do that in football sometimes. You know, like
Yeah.
we
And
keep
like
all the
even
older
when I-
helmets. They kind of kick kids
When I
out.
left Georgetown, my helmet was 10 years old. It was given to, it's
Right.
it's a standard thing that
If it's 10,
fire
we'll
departments do
give it to
across
them.
Yeah.
the-
Is there
But-
a sentimental value for the specific one?
I just,
right. Yes.
just
Yeah,
for somebody
yeah.
to serve
So if they've
20
only had it a
years,
couple years.
and then we're going
Right.
to charge them
Then you've got
There's
to
still
just-
some value in it.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to stay within the treasurer.
Sheriff,
Would you come forward, please?
Yes.
it's really not much different. This works. It's really not much different than what the sheriff does. You know, they take up donations for, deputies that are leaving for them to have their handgun, their service weapons.
The sheriff's
So,
department, they will pull money to do it.
I think there's a KRS that addresses that though.
speaking of SRS.
She's on fire today. Don't let her.
Along your lines,
Let's try to go from there.
whatever the pleasure of the court is, but like, what we can have is like somebody's worked here 7 or 8 years, and then, I think we
I
have to
agree
have
with that.
something else that's uniform, because we'll all be gone.
I'm taking my chair with me, though.
Take over name tag.
And would there be any chance that like a union, the
Firefighters Association.
firefighters association might take up money to buy helmets for retiring?
Yeah, there's a possibility. I know they currently right now
They do a big
professional
axe and a big
they
plaque
purchase
and-
an axe and on a plaque. Yeah, for them. Yeah.
But this
So
just
they're
hadn't
already
came
doing
up.
something. Yeah.
This hadn't came up, and I thought it'd be good to have a policy, and that way everybody's on the clear and it's all uniform.
I mean, don't you
Please
have
know
weird-
I respect what you're saying.
I mean, couldn't we get input from the association and our local firefighters, like put some sort of plan together for us to review instead of us, like what would be something that they would ultimately they get what they want out of their helmet somehow. What are they willing to do on their part?
Right.
What is respectful by us to do?
Sure. And I can have a conversation with them on that.
I know ultimately, we've got some restrictions. We can't just be handing out whatever. But how can we meet them to where it also honors the retirement and,
And their service.
Their service.
Yes. And I think that case, I think they would. The only thing I'm just trying to process in my mind is not every single member is a member of the Scott County Professional Firefighters Association.
And that's fine. It could be your leadership. I don't care who.
Right, yeah.
But firefighters
Yes,
who, especially guys that either have already retired, because you got a few of those that come back.
Right.
How was their experience? You got
Right.
guys that are close to retirement.
Yeah.
What kind of experience are they expecting or wanting?
Right.
And then you got the first year guy.
Right.
What's his input? So.
but knowing this information now makes me think to myself that I'm willing to donate some money so some family ain't got to buy this guy's helmet that's done gave us 20 years
Right.
of
I
his
agree
life
with
service.
some sort of plan.
That's just the way I feel. So.
No, I respect that. So I think we'll go forward with what we have, and then
And I can have more conversation with them on that.
And how many a year is it?
Yeah.
What are we talking about? How many of these situations on a typical year are we talking?
Right. Yeah. And then dealing with situations where somebody hasn't hit that retirement years, but they resign to go work at another department or do whatever. You know what I'm saying? They
Right.
haven't completed that. To be able to, if they want to purchase their helmet. Give you an example, like Blakeson Fire Department. When the recruits come on, they're issued an orange helmet. They go through their first year of probation with the orange color helmet. Once they get off probation, they're given a black helmet. They give them the option if they want to keep their recruit helmet, that orange helmet that they went through recruit class and the whole year probationary period. They will tell the recruits, if you want to keep your helmet, you purchase us a helmet. Because that helmet's it's only a year old. You purchase us another orange helmet, give it to us, and we'll give you your. So there's things that there's thing.
ways to do it.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
I wanted to update you too.
Yeah, we just got notification this week that we met all the requirements for the AFG grant, and we will be receiving the funds around $178,000.
Awesome.
So, just to let you know, that was
Remind
from
me,
2021.
was it the fire hose?
No, that was for the vehicle exhaust system.
Okay.
So basically, we paid that up front.
So you're getting the reimbursement.
We're
Yeah,
getting the
we got notification.
AFG's
Great.
portion of that grant is getting ready to come back to our account.
And then we're going to apply for it again for the
I would like to
replacement
apply
hosing.
for fire hose. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did we approved that before, right? And
We
that
did. We
would be-
didn't get it. Yeah, we didn't get it. And I don't know if it was where we still had this grant active. If maybe that was a reason, because on their notice of fundings that they put out every year when these grants come out, they list things that are they consider high priority. And fire hose is one of those items that is listed in AFG as high priority. So my hope is now we've got this grant kind of closed out. We're getting ready to get the reimbursement back, that we go after the fire hose grant again and see if our chances or odds may increase because of that.
I saw y'all put out on social media, don't drive over the hose.
That's correct. Yes.
It's a problem.
Did y'all go ahead and switch from a 4-inch to a 5-inch? Or
No,
you're waiting-
currently we still have 4-inch.
So you're waiting for the grant before you would do this?
Yes, because that's a big expense. That's a lot of hose that we carry on all the apparatus, and it just to me makes sense. A lot of surrounding apartments that are around us, that's what they carry is 5-inch LDH. So I would like to, move up and that's another thing. Our 4-inch hose, it's old. I think they actually purchased it from Winchester Fire Department many years ago, because Winchester was basically surplusing that hose, and at that point in time, the Scott County Fire Department didn't have LDH hose, so they were able to purchase that large quantity of hose at a real reduced rate, and that's why they went to the 4-inch.
Okay.
What about maybe an update on where you're at on the generator project?
It actually, Trout Tate Wilson has basically prepared the bid documents. They are at Lynn
Imaging.
Yeah,
Imaging.
it posted on Lynn.
And actually, the
It's in the
ad
paper.
went out in the Georgetown newspaper today.
It's in there.
Yeah.
So
So my hope is
those
we'll get
bids-
some good.
When are the bids due in?
Like a couple weeks, I think.
I can't remember. Yeah. We've already had actually 1 or 2 companies call the station already inquiring about it. So, which seems like we're moving along with that fairly well too. So I'm really excited to see that project get going and come to an end.
In the storage building, you're just kind of waiting for it to dry out a little bit and get a little bit more fill in there, and then
Yeah, JR and his team has already started the ground prep work on that, bringing in some dirt, having that ground ready to go, but he's helped us out a lot on that as well. So I think Assistant Chief Baker submitted plans to building inspection to get that process started, to be able to, get the permits for that to start.
JR is a special deputy with the sheriff's office. he might feel slighted from the fire department, because I don't know if he's been given any special, special status with the fire department.
He's a junior firefighter. Let's get a little helmet, one little a little plastic. Hey, we'll even let you keep your little plastic helmet. You want to buy it, JR?
We'll definitely take care of that.
All right.
Where y'all? What about the replacement doors? I know y'all were doing 8.
Yes, they started work on that this week. They're out at Station 4 out in Newtown. So the plan is get those 2 doors on. They'll move then to Homestead, Station 5, get those 2 doors on, and then come to Station 1 and put the 4. So the doors are in. They're just starting the process of getting them replaced. So, yeah.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you all.
And then,
Just kudos to them. They've John and Baker have been coming out to New Scott County High School working on radio frequencies and being able to get out of that basement and stuff like that. So they've spent a couple days over there with me, and I appreciate that. And appreciate the guys leading Royal Spring through the town last night in the parade too. So that was fun. So appreciate that.
All you need.
Hey, Chief, the drawing of the office for the generator.
And then Chip sitting back there. This is unofficial, and Chip, I'd invite you to come up and share. but we've received preliminary communication that the cybersecurity grant that we put in is going to be awarded. We've got to wait till maybe April, but the preliminary communication is that we're going to receive that grant, and we're talking in excess of $400,000. So
and they were also mentioning, I think we got approval from you all for a matching, and they're going to waive that potentially, and that was like $80,000 or something. So
cool.
It's all unofficial, but
we'll let everybody know when we know more. But just giving the court an update.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to share, Chip?
No, just
don't open that email if it looks fishy.
Yeah. Don't get him any gift cards.
Don't give me any gift cards. Mike Hennigan, you got anything? Anybody else have anything? I know Mike's been very busy. I don't know if y'all were aware, but gas leak out at the end of Washington on Paris Pike where it intersects, and there's been a lot of cleanup done, remediation, and it's continuing.
Have you? I know you were going to ask, or Candace, any update on the White Flag Shelter? They can approve that just come about June, July.
Like my head might spin off my top of my head because the state building inspector sent back their inspection notes, and there were, like in my opinion, a list of things that have to be done that was. It just makes me shake my head and scratch my head a little bit. So I'll share that as I get an update, kind of, but there's work that they say has to be done. I would like to see if we can meet with the inspector and kind of go over this list and say, let's, making sure that the inspector knows exactly what's, going to be done at that facility and such. So that is a current item that's being addressed. So
where are we at on tornado shelters?
Yep, that was my question
So
also.
we have planned, and Mike, I'll let you speak. The tornado shelter at Stamping Ground is going to be the first one.
Right.
You want to speak to it?
Been working back and forth with the manufacturer. They needed some building inspection specs and that type of thing. I believe that we've gotten to that point where they've got what they need and ready to, ship as soon as the ground gets warm enough to put it over there. It will be at the EMS building in Stamping Ground. Still struggling to find a location near the other trailer park.
JR and I have met with property owner out off Lyle Road multiple times. We had a site that we had an easement on, but it's not suitable because of the floodplain. We looked at another site. You went and asked the ownership of the trailer park about a potential partnership, and they denied you.
Correct. We cannot locate a shelter on the actual property of whatever we're calling Georgetown.
But there is potential. JR and actually met with the property owner this week. There is potential about another site that he might have access to right there on Lyle Road next to the trailer park. But that property owner also has offered us an easement to build a decorative "Welcome to Georgetown Scott County" sign right there at the county line on 25. And I think it could potentially have be something for us to look at. And I appreciate the willingness of the property owner to want to partner with us. It'd be a nice decorative sign that's lit up at night. It'd be a partnership between, in my opinion, tourism, fiscal court, the city, that kind of thing. So, but can you communicate with them, like hey, we're ready to go.
We're ready to draw, yeah.
Do they pour the slab?
They do everything so that
That's
it's
what I thought you
FEMA
said.
certified up to EF 585 mile an hour winds.
So,
You could also look, I mean, we could also approve probably the Lyle Road soccer field if we had to, right? I mean, it's not ideal, it's not close, but if you can't find anywhere else closer, at least it's.
Give me just a little bit more time. If that doesn't pan out, then we'll have to go to Plan B, and that might be an option. But we were just trying to get where somebody could walk.
No, I'm 100%
Yeah.
with you. I'm just thinking that's at least somewhere close-ish, and we already own the land.
Yeah.
So did you have a date for the stamping ground, Mike?
Like I say, we're fighting back and forth with the building inspection and what's required in order for them to do it. I'll send an email to the judge, and then he can share that next week with what the actual expectation is for when.
If we can get that done
Yeah.
like as soon as possible, it's in the budget. We
Right.
need to go on and get it done. And
Yeah, because that 50th anniversary is coming up for the '74 tornado.
so that'd be a great thing.
Good enough.
Anything else? Anybody else? If not, then let's conclude this meeting, and we'll talk. Be safe.